That pendejo doesn't even know he's raising my kid. My best friend told my fiancé in Spanish. I pretended not to understand. At the rehearsal dinner, I answered back in perfect Spanish and humiliated them in front of everyone. What followed was absolute chaos. Hey, Reddit. So I overheard my best friend bragging in Spanish about banging my fiancé in the car I bought her as a gift? Yup, you heard that right. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the shit show. I destroyed them both. I'm Ezra, 31 male, working as a regional sales manager for some freight logistics company in Phoenix, making solid money that keeps the lights on and lets me enjoy weekends without worrying about my bank account. I drive a paid-off Honda Accord, rent a decent two-bedroom, and had exactly $23,000 sitting in savings before this whole mess started. I met my fiancée Isabella 4 years ago at some warehouse industry mixer. She was there doing event coordination, and she looked like she just stepped off a magazine cover. Long dark hair, curves in all the right places, and this smile that made every dude in the room completely forget why they showed up. I'm talking the kind of woman who makes you suddenly give a darn about your cologne and whether your shirt's got wrinkles. She was 28 when we met, Mexican-American, and she had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room. Worked in event planning, corporate functions, weddings, that whole deal. Good money, not great money, but she always dressed like she made twice what she actually did. Designer bags, I later learned, were Canal Street knockoffs, expensive-looking jewelry that turned your skin green after a week. But I didn't know that then. 4 years into dating, I proposed. Did the whole rooftop restaurant thing downtown, a ring that cost me 3 months' salary, got down on one knee while some violinist played in the background. She cried, said yes, immediately FaceTimed like 3 different friends before I even stood back up. The Instagram post went up before we left the restaurant. Bunch of comments in 10 minutes, all heart emojis and OMG congratulations. Then 2 months ago, she tells me she's pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, I completely lost my mind in the best way. Started Googling baby names on my phone at 2 a.m., called my sister crying happy, the whole 9 yards. I'd always wanted kids, figured I'd be a solid dad since mine was barely around. Already had this mental list of everything I was gonna do different. Isabella seemed happy too, though looking back now, she seemed more relieved than happy. But I was too pumped to notice. Started talking about converting the spare bedroom into a nursery, about getting married before she started showing too much, all that future planning stuff. Here's where I messed up. I wanted to do something special for her, make her feel appreciated while she was pregnant. So I bought her a car. Not some crazy supercar or anything, but a 2021 Audi Q7 in white. Used but clean, only 18,000 miles. Cost me $52,000, which was literally my entire savings plus a loan I'd be paying off for the next 5 years. But I figured it was worth it, you know? Safe car for the baby, reliable, and Isabella had been complaining about her Honda CR-V for months. The look on her face when I surprised her in our apartment parking lot was Oscar-worthy. Tears, screaming, jumping up and down. Well, as much as a pregnant woman can jump. She FaceTimed everyone she knew, posted about 100 stories on Instagram with sappy captions about how blessed she was, how I was the perfect man, how she couldn't wait to start our family. I handed her the keys right there. Told her it was her car, her baby mobile, whatever she wanted to call it. She kissed me like I'd just bought her a house. 48 hours later, she was banging my best friend in it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about Andrew, my best friend since junior year of college. 9 years of friendship. The kind of guy who'd helped me move 4 times. Was there when my dad died. Got tipsy with me after bad breakups. Investment broker at some regional firm. Made decent money. Always had some new watch or suit to show off. Kind of cocky if you didn't know him. But I figured that was just his work personality. Andrew had been dating this girl Monica for 3 years. She seemed cool. A bit high maintenance, but whatever. They'd gotten engaged about 6 months before Isabella and I did. We'd joked about having a double wedding, about our kids growing up together, all that friendship goal nonsense that sounds great until it doesn't. When I asked Andrew to be my best man, he acted like I'd just given him a Medal of Honor. Whole speech about brotherhood, about how honored he was, about how he'd make sure the bachelor party was legendary. Now here's the part nobody knew about me. The detail that ended up saving my ass. I speak fluent Spanish. My grandfather Miguel raised me from age 7 to 13. My parents split up bad. Real bad. Court dates, lawyers, my mom telling me my dad was a piece of garbage, my dad saying my mom was crazy. Messi doesn't even cover it. So my abuelo, my mom's dad, who'd immigrated from Guadalajara in the 70s, took me in, gave me stability when everything else was falling apart. We spoke Spanish at home constantly. He'd tell me stories about growing up in Mexico, taught me to make proper tamales and pozole, made me read Mexican newspapers so I'd actually understand the language properly. By the time I moved back with my mom at 13, I was completely fluent. Could have passed for a Mexican kid if you closed your eyes. But here's the thing. Kids are jerks. When I got back to regular American school, they made fun of my accent, called me Speedy Gonzales, made racist jokes, all that middle school cruelty that sticks with you forever. So I just stopped speaking Spanish, stopped mentioning it, let it become this hidden part of my childhood that nobody asked about. People just assumed I was your standard white guy who maybe knew hola and cerveza from high school Spanish class. And I let them assume that. Even Isabella didn't know. Neither did Andrew. That was the luckiest secret I ever kept. My bachelor party was scheduled for Saturday night, 3 weeks before the wedding. We kept it pretty low-key because Isabella was pregnant. The crew was me, Andrew, my younger brother Kyle, 24, works as a physical therapist, my buddy from work Tony, 40-year-old divorced guy who'd been through the absolute ringer, and 4 other guys from college and the warehouse. Around 9 p.m., Isabella texts saying she wants to stop by before heading to her bachelorette thing. She shows up at 9:20 wearing this tight black dress that showed off her bump. Pregnant Isabella was somehow even hotter than regular Isabella. She walks in and every single head turned. Everyone gave her hugs, told her she looked incredible. The Audi was parked right up front under a streetlight. Made me proud as heck. Andrew was the first one to really engage with her. They stood by the bar talking, laughing. Nothing seemed weird about it. They'd known each other for years, right? But Tony leans over to me. Dude, they seem close. They've known each other for years, I said, watching Isabella touch Andrew's arm while laughing. They're friends. Yeah, Tony said. Friends. After about 20 minutes, Isabella said she needed to head out. Andrew offered to walk her to the car. They were outside for like 6-7 minutes. Long enough that Tony mutters, "Long walk to the car." When they came back, Isabella kissed my cheek, said she loved me. Andrew clapped me on the shoulder. Then she left. About 15 minutes later, I headed to the bathroom. I'm washing my hands when I hear voices in the hallway, the alcove near the emergency exit that nobody ever uses. They were speaking Spanish. I stepped out quietly. They were standing maybe 10 feet away, near the exit door, thinking they were hidden. That was incredible earlier in the new car, Andrew said in Spanish. We should do it again next week when he's at that Dallas conference. Isabella laughed. She had her hand on his chest. Okay, but we need to be more careful. My mother is getting suspicious. She asked why the Audi smells like cologne. Then Andrew said the words that made my entire world stop. That Pendejo doesn't even know he's raising my kid. The hallway started spinning. My ears were ringing. I had to put my hand against the wall to keep from falling over. They were sleeping together, in my car. The baby wasn't mine, and they thought I was too stupid to understand them. Isabella said something about being careful at the wedding. Andrew laughed, said how much fun it was fooling everyone, how I was so trusting and boring. I forced myself to breathe, because if I walked over there right then, I was going to put Andrew through that emergency exit door head first. And the last thing I needed now was an assault charge. So I waited in the bathroom entrance until they finished and walked back separately. Waited until I could control my face. Then I walked out like nothing happened. Andrew was back with the guys, laughing about some play on TV. Isabella had already left. Kyle was arguing about basketball stats. Tony was watching me with these knowing eyes. I sat down, grabbed my drink, forced myself to look normal. Inside, I was dying. I was running through every single moment of the past 4 years. The rest of the night was a blur. I made excuses around 11 and said I had an early morning. Kyle asked if I was okay. I said wedding stress. Tony just nodded. I sat in my Honda in the parking lot for 30 minutes. My best friend and my pregnant fiancée, having an affair, raising my hopes about a kid that wasn't mine, in my car. The car I'd emptied my entire savings to buy her. But here's the thing they didn't know. I'd understood every single word, and I had 3 weeks until the wedding to figure out exactly how I was going to burn their whole world down. I didn't go home that night, so I drove to my brother Kyle's place on the other side of Phoenix, showed up at midnight, and he took one look at my face and let me in without asking a question. We sat on his couch drinking until 3 a.m. I told him everything, every word I'd heard in Spanish, every suspicion I'd had that I'd just ignored, the timeline of the pregnancy. Jesus Christ, Kyle said when I finished. He was angry. We should go over there right now and confront him. Can't, I said, even though I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Assault charge ruins my life more than his. Plus, it doesn't prove anything. They'll just deny it and make me look crazy. So what are you gonna do? I don't know yet, I said. But it needs to destroy both of them. Kyle nodded slowly. You need help? Yeah, I said. I'm gonna need help. The first thing I did was check the timeline. Isabella told me she got pregnant in mid-February. The due date she'd given me was late October. Mid-February. I'd been in Dallas for work from February 9th through 15th. A full week of client meetings, staying at some airport Marriott, working 12-hour days trying to close a contract with this major shipping company. It was important for my job. Isabella had encouraged me to go. Usually she hated when I traveled for work, got all lonely and complained about it. But for Dallas, she'd practically packed my bags herself, said it was a great opportunity, that she'd be fine, that I should focus on work and not worry about her. Now I knew why. Andrew had been in town, and I was conveniently 1,000 miles away. The due date put conception right in that window. She got pregnant while I was gone, panicked about what to do, and figured she could pass it off as mine since we were active enough that I wouldn't question it. I called in sick to work Monday and Tuesday. What I was really doing was surveillance. Monday around noon, I drove by Andrew's condo in Scottsdale. Nice place, definitely nicer than mine. And there, parked in his assigned spot, was the white Audi Q7. I parked 3 spaces down and waited. Part of me hoped I was wrong, that there was some innocent explanation. But I knew. Deep down, I already knew. 53 minutes later, Isabella came out. Her hair was messy. She was wearing different clothes than she'd had on that morning when she'd kissed me goodbye and said she had client meetings all day. She got in the Audi, fixed her hair, and drove off. I wanted to throw up. She came home around 2:30 p.m. I was back at our apartment by then, sitting on the couch with my laptop open, pretending to answer work emails. She seemed happy, relaxed, gave me a kiss, and asked how I was feeling. Better, I lied. Stomach's still a little rough, but I'll survive. Poor baby, she said, putting her hand on my cheek. I'm gonna take a quick shower and then maybe we can watch something? Sure, I said. I heard the shower start, heard her singing. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on the couch planning how to ruin her entire life. Tony came over Tuesday night with pizza. I'd texted him that I needed to talk, and he'd shown up without questions. I told him everything. He listened and didn't look even a little bit surprised. I knew it, he said when I finished. The way she looks at him. I've seen that look before. That's not friendship. I need help, I said. I need to catch them in a way that nobody can deny. I need evidence that destroys them both. Tony thought for a minute. My cousin does private investigation work. Divorce cases, custody stuff, that kind of thing. He's good. Discreet. How much? For you? Probably call it a favor. He owes me anyway. That's how I met Carlos. Carlos was this 50-year-old ex-cop who'd gotten tired of police work and started doing PI stuff for divorce lawyers. He had cameras the size of shirt buttons, could track phones, could document everything in ways that actually held up in court. How long until the wedding? He asked when we met at a Denny's Thursday morning. 2.5 weeks, I said. That's plenty of time, Carlos said. What do you want me to get? Everything, every meeting, every time they're together. Video, photos, GPS tracking, phone records if you can. I want it airtight. Done. Gonna need $2,000 up front. I put it on my credit card. Money I didn't have, debt I'd be carrying for months. But it was worth it. Over the next 2 weeks, Carlos gathered everything. Photos of Andrew's car at our apartment complex when I was at work. Video of them meeting at his place 3 different times. GPS data showing Isabella's car spending 2 to 3 hours at Andrew's condo on 7 different occasions. Phone records showing 200+ texts between them over the past 6 months. The worst one was the video from that Thursday. Carlos had hidden a camera in the parking lot of Andrew's building. The footage showed Isabella parking the Audi, Andrew coming down to meet her, and them kissing. Not a friendly kiss, a full-on making out in the parking lot kiss, before heading inside. In my car. Not even trying to hide it because they thought I was too stupid to figure it out. I watched that video 3 times. You want me at this rehearsal dinner? Carlos asked when he handed me a flash drive with everything on it. No, I said, but I got someone else in mind. That's when I called my sister's friend Billy. Billy was this filmmaker who did wedding videos and corporate work, and made pretty good money doing it. More importantly, Billy had spent a year studying in Buenos Aires and spoke fluent Spanish. I explained the situation, showed him the videos Carlos had gotten, told him what I wanted to do. That's savage, Billy said, grinning. I'm in. What's the pay? $1,500 for the night. Plus, you can use the footage however you want after. Deal. The plan was coming together. I had evidence. I had a videographer who spoke Spanish. I had my brother Kyle who was ready to back me up. And I had 2 weeks to plan exactly how this was going to go down. Isabella kept asking if everything was okay. Said I seemed distant, quiet. I blamed it on work stress, wedding nerves. She bought it because why wouldn't she? I'd never given her a reason not to trust me. The irony was almost funny. Andrew texted me constantly about the wedding, about his best man speech, about whether he should rent a tux or buy one, about how excited he was for me. Every text made me want to put my phone through a wall, but I played along. Told him I couldn't wait. Told him he was the best friend anyone could ask for. Love you, man, he texted one night. 2 weeks later, I was going to show him what real brotherly love looked like. The rehearsal dinner was scheduled for Friday night, the day before the wedding. 70 people, both families. The entire wedding party, close friends. We'd booked out the back room at this upscale Mexican restaurant called Rosa's. Isabella's choice, obviously. Monday morning, 4 days before the dinner, I did something that probably makes me a jerk, but honestly I don't care. I needed one more thing to make this hurt. I called the Audi dealership. Hey, this is Ezra Mitchell. I bought a Q7 from you guys about 2 months ago. White one, 18K miles. Yes, sir, I remember that sale. Beautiful vehicle. How's it running? Great, actually. Quick question, though. I'm thinking about trading it in for something else. My fiance's pregnant, and she wants something bigger. What's the trade-in value looking like? He quoted me a number, $44,000. I'd lost $8,000 to depreciation in 2 months. Actually, I said, can I add something to that order? I've been meaning to install one of those dash cams. You know, for safety. Do you guys do that? We do, yeah. We can install a good one for about $400. Front and rear view, continuous recording. Perfect, I said. Can I bring it in tomorrow? Tuesday morning, while Isabella was at a client meeting, probably Andrew's bedroom, I drove the Audi to the dealership, had them install a top-of-the-line dash cam system, interior and exterior cameras, continuous recording, motion activated, cloud backup. Isabella never noticed the cameras. They were small, discreet, built into the rearview mirror area. It just looked like part of the car. That night, I logged into the dashcam app on my phone, set up alerts for motion detection. Now I'd know every time someone got in that car and exactly what they did. Wednesday, the dashcam earned its money. Motion alert at 12:47 p.m. I opened the app. Andrew's condo parking lot. Andrew getting into the driver's seat, Isabella in the passenger seat. The audio was crystal clear. He leaves for Dallas again next month, Isabella said in Spanish, adjusting her lipstick in the sun visor mirror. 3 days. We can go somewhere nice this time. Maybe Sedona. Sounds perfect, Andrew replied, backing out of his parking spot. Does the idiot suspect anything? Nothing, Isabella laughed. He's too busy worrying about his stupid job. Honestly, sometimes I feel bad. He tries so hard to make me happy. Maybe you should marry him after all then, Andrew said, and they both laughed. God, no. The intimacy is terrible. But the money's nice. And after the baby comes, I'll have child support locked in. I saved that clip. Sent it to myself in 3 different places. Evidence for later. Thursday, my brother Kyle came over. I showed him everything. This is going to be nuclear, he said, shaking his head. Mom's going to lose her mind. Good, I said. Everyone needs to see exactly who these people are. Friday morning, the day of the rehearsal dinner, I played the perfect fiancé. Woke up early, made breakfast. Isabella came out of the bedroom rubbing her eyes, looking genuinely surprised. What's all this? She asked, smiling. Just wanted to do something nice, I said. Big night tonight. She kissed me. Said she was so lucky. Said she couldn't wait to marry me tomorrow. Yeah, I said, watching her eat. Tomorrow's going to be unforgettable. I'd told Billy to show up at Rose's around 6 p.m., before anyone else arrived. I got there at 5:30 to help set up. Carlos had sent me one more thing, a small USB drive that looked like a regular thumb drive, but it had all the evidence loaded on it, ready to be played. I'd talked to the restaurant manager, this guy named Hector, who I'd gotten to know during wedding planning, explained that I wanted to do a special video presentation during the dinner. He showed me where the TV was, how to work the HDMI connection, the whole setup. Billy showed up right on time, 2 cameras in hand. You good? He asked quietly. Never better, I said. People started arriving around 6:30. My mom and stepdad first, then Isabella's huge family. Her parents, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, countless cousins, aunts, uncles, the whole family. My brother Kyle, my dad who'd flown in from Seattle, my aunt and uncle, the whole wedding party. Andrew showed up at 6:45 with his fiancée Monica. She looked completely clueless, holding Andrew's hand like he wasn't a piece of garbage. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Isabella arrived last, around 7, wearing this red dress. Her mom was with her, fussing over her hair, making sure everything was perfect. She saw me and came right over, kissed me in front of everyone. "Tonight's gonna be perfect," she whispered. "Yeah," I whispered back. "It really is." Dinner was served at 7:30. Everyone was eating, drinking, telling stories, and toasting the happy couple. Isabella's dad gave this speech about family and tradition and how proud he was of his daughter. Around 8:30, after dessert, Hector dimmed the lights. This was usually when people would start giving toasts and speeches. Billy stood up with his camera. "Hey everyone, I'm Billy. I'm gonna be filming the wedding tomorrow, but tonight I wanted to get some special messages from the wedding party. Just quick little interviews." He started with the bridesmaids, got each one saying something nice about Isabella. Then the groomsmen, each guy talking about how long they'd known me. Funny stories, the usual stuff. Then he got to Andrew. "Andrew, you're the best man, right? Want to say something special for the couple?" Andrew stood up, holding his drink. He was already a little tipsy. "Perfect." "Absolutely," he said. "Ezra's been my best friend for 9 years. Been through everything together. Can't think of anyone who deserves happiness more." "That's beautiful, man," Billy said. "Hey, I heard you speak Spanish. That's impressive. Could you say something to the bride in Spanish?" Isabella was watching, smiling, probably thinking this was sweet. His eyes lit up. Here was his chance to show off, to be cultured, to say something that sounded romantic, but that nobody would understand. "Sure," he said. Then, in Spanish, speaking slowly so everyone could hear, "Isabella, mi amor, I can't wait until this charade is over and we can finally be together properly. You looked beautiful in my bed this morning." A few people went "oh," thinking it was something romantic. Isabella blushed, giggling. Then Isabella, not to be outdone, responded in Spanish, "Be patient, mi vida. Just a few more months. Then we can do whatever we want." More awes, more people smiling, thinking this was some sweet moment. Billy kept filming. I stayed seated, watching, letting them hang themselves. Andrew continued, getting bolder. "It's almost too easy. I almost feel bad." "Don't," Isabella replied in Spanish, laughing. They kept going for another 30 seconds. Andrew saying how he couldn't believe I'd bought her a $52,000 car. Isabella saying she'd trained me well. Both of them laughing, thinking nobody could understand them. I let them finish. Let everyone smile and nod. Then I stood up. The room went quiet. Everyone turned to look at me, probably expecting me to say something about how touched I was by the gesture. Instead, I started speaking, in perfect Spanish, with my abuelo's Guadalajara accent. "Thank you, Andrew, for that incredibly honest speech. And Isabella, mi amor, thank you for finally telling the truth about our relationship. It's refreshing." Dead silence. Isabella's face went from tan to white in about 2 seconds. Andrew's drink froze halfway to his mouth. "Especially the part about the child support checks," I continued in Spanish, looking directly at Isabella. "And Andrew, I appreciate you showing me the depth of our friendship." "Ezra," Isabella whispered, her voice shaking, "you speak Spanish?" "Yup," I replied, still in Spanish. "Thanks to my abuelo Miguel. Unlike you two, I don't have to lie in a different language." The room was dead silent. Isabella's mother covered her mouth. Her father stood up. My brother Kyle was grinning like Christmas came early. I switched to English for everyone. "For those who missed the translation," I said, loud and clear, "my best friend just told my fiancé that he can't wait until our charade is over so they can be together properly. She told him to be patient because the child support checks start in a few months. They thought I was an idiot for being too trusting." The explosion was immediate and beautiful. Isabella started crying, reaching across the table. "Ezra, please, that's not what I meant." I cut her off. "I speak Spanish, Isabella. I've understood every single word you two have said for weeks." Andrew tried to stand, tried to say something. My brother Kyle stepped behind him, hand on his shoulder, forcing him back down into his chair. Monica, Andrew's fiancée, made this sound like someone had just punched her in the stomach. "You got her pregnant?" Isabella's father was on his feet, yelling in Spanish, asking what was going on. Her mother was crying. My mom looked like she might faint. "Oh, and everyone should know," I continued, pulling out my phone. "I've got lots of videos." I walked over to where Hector was standing by the TV, plugged in the USB drive. The screen came to life. First video, Carlos's footage from Andrew's parking lot. Isabella and Andrew kissing. Timestamp and date stamp clearly visible. clear as day, both their faces visible. Isabella's mother gasped, "Mija, what is this?" Second video, dash cam footage from Wednesday. Andrew and Isabella in the Audi, talking in Spanish about their affair, talking about me being too stupid to notice, talking about child support money. Third video, Isabella entering Andrew's condo building on 6 different dates. Timestamps, clear face shots. Isabella was full-on sobbing now. "Ezra, stop it. We can talk about this." "No," I said, taking the USB drive back. "We can't. Because the wedding's canceled." That's when Andrew made his biggest mistake. He stood up, tried to walk toward me, tried to say something about how I was overreacting, how we could work this out like men. Kyle was faster. He grabbed Andrew by the shoulder, spun him around, and shoved him back into his chair hard enough that the chair skidded backward. He said, "Sit down," Kyle repeated. Tony, my work buddy, who'd been sitting quietly in the corner, stood up. "Ezra, you want me to get these two out?" "Not yet," I said. "I'm not finished." I turned to Monica, Andrew's fiancée, who was crying silently. "Monica, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. You deserved better. He's been sleeping with my fiancé for at least 8 months. Probably longer." She didn't say anything, just stood up, walked over to Andrew, and dumped her full glass on his head. Then she took off her engagement ring, dropped it on the table, and walked out. The room erupted. People yelling, crying, arguing. Isabella's father was pulling her toward the exit, telling her in Spanish that she'd disgraced the family. Her mother was wailing. My mom was hugging me, crying, saying she was so sorry. Andrew was still sitting there, drink dripping off his hair, looking like he'd just been hit by a truck. 9 years, Andrew, I said, walking over to him. 9 years of friendship. You called me an idiot for not knowing you were sleeping with my girlfriend. Ezra, I never meant... You meant every word. You just didn't think I was smart enough to understand them. Then I did the pettiest thing I'd been planning. I pulled out a gift box from under the table, wrapped in nice paper with a bow, handed it to Isabella, who was still crying. "What's this?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Open it," I said. She opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a onesie, a baby onesie with custom text on it. It read, "My dad's name is Andrew." The room went silent for a second, then Kyle started laughing. Tony joined in. A few of my cousins who'd caught on started laughing too. Even Hector was trying not to smile. "That's for the baby," I said to Isabella, since honesty's important. Her mother made the sign of the cross. Her father pulled her harder toward the door. "One more thing," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Isabella, the car's being returned to my possession. The title's in my name. Hope you two enjoyed your last ride." "You can't do that," Isabella screamed. "That's my car." "Actually, it's my car," I said. "Title's in my name. I just let you drive it." Emphasis on past tense. Andrew finally found his voice. "Man, you're making a mistake. The baby might still be yours. You can't just..." "DNA test says otherwise," I said firmly. 0% match. I hadn't actually gotten one yet, but they didn't know that. "I also called all our wedding vendors," I continued. "Canceled everything. The venue, the caterers, the photographer, everyone knows the situation. Good luck explaining this to everyone you invited." Isabella was hyperventilating. Andrew was standing there looking like his world had just ended, because it had. "Oh, and Andrew," I said as he started to leave, "I called your office. Sent them the videos. HR wants to talk to you Monday morning." That one was true. I had sent it to them. Investment firms don't like scandal. And Isabella, your boss at the event company received a nice email too, with all the evidence. Something about integrity and client trust. Also true. I'd sent that this morning. They left, both of them. Isabella with her parents, Andrew alone, soaked and humiliated. Billy got every second on camera. After they were gone, I turned to the room. 70 people staring at me, half crying, half looking shocked. "I'm sorry you all had to see that," I said, "but I needed everyone to know the truth. The wedding's canceled. I'll be refunding anyone who gave us gifts. Thank you for your support." My mom rushed over and hugged me. Kyle clapped me on the back. Tony was grinning ear to ear. "That was savage, man," Tony said. "They earned it," I said. Hector, the restaurant manager, came over. "So, about the bill, put it on my card," I said. "Everyone eat, drink, and enjoy. Just because the wedding's canceled doesn't mean you can't have a good night. Drinks are on the house," Hector said. That was better than any telenovela I've ever watched. The rest of the night was surreal. People stayed, ate, drank. The mood shifted from shocked to almost celebratory. People kept coming up to me, saying I did the right thing, that I handled it perfectly. The next 72 hours were chaos, but like locally contained chaos. Billy sent me the full video footage Sunday morning, and I made copies of everything. Didn't upload it anywhere yet, just kept it as insurance. Monday morning, Andrew's firm called me. Hello, this is Brian Holbrook from Sentinel Investment Group. I'm calling regarding a video that was sent to our HR department. Yeah, I said. That's real. All of it. We're conducting an internal investigation. Andrew's been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome. I want you to know we take ethical violations very seriously, even in personal matters. When they involve deception and character concerns, they reflect on our firm's reputation. Appreciate the call, I said. Andrew didn't just lose his reputation. He lost his job. They fired him Tuesday morning. Violation of ethics standards, they called it. Investment firms are built on trust, and nobody trusts a guy who betrayed his best friend. Isabella got fired Monday. Her event planning company called her in, played parts of the video, and let her go. 3 different clients had already called threatening to pull their contracts. When you're in the business of planning weddings and corporate events, you can't be the face of infidelity and betrayal. The video stayed private for the most part. Billy had uploaded it to a private YouTube link that I shared with maybe 20 people. Close friends, family members who weren't at the dinner, people who needed to see the truth. But word spread fast. People who saw it told other people. It got shared in local Phoenix social circles, forwarded in group chats, discussed at dinner tables. Within a week, everyone in our mutual friend groups, our professional networks, and our extended families had seen it. Not internet famous. Enough that Andrew and Isabella couldn't show their faces anywhere without people knowing exactly who they were and what they'd done. I saw Andrew once during that first week. Ran into him at the grocery store on Thursday. He was in the produce section, looking like he hadn't slept in days. When he saw me, he froze. I didn't say anything. Just looked at him, let him see the disgust on my face, and kept walking. He didn't try to approach me. Smart move. Wednesday, I got the Audi back. Legally, I owned it. The title was in my name, so I arranged to have it picked up from Andrew's parking lot and delivered to a CarMax. Sold it that same day for $43,000. Took a $9,000 loss from the original purchase price, but honestly, I didn't care. That car was tainted. I wanted it gone. I used the $43,000 to pay off the $29,000 loan on the car first. That left me with $14,000. The wedding deposits I'd lost totaled about $12,000. Venues don't refund you when you cancel the day before. Caterers keep your money. Photographers, bands, florists, everyone kept their deposits. Between the car depreciation loss of $9,000, the $12,000 in deposits, plus the investigation costs, I was out about $25,000 total from my original savings. But honestly, worth every penny. Thursday, Isabella's father called me. Ezra, this is Miguel, he said. I want to apologize for my daughter's behavior. What she did was shameful. She has disgraced our family. I appreciate that, Mr. Santos, I said. I need to ask you something, he continued. The baby, will you be involved at all? No, I said firmly. That baby isn't mine. Andrew's the father. He needs to step up. I understand, but if there's any chance... There's no chance, I interrupted. I heard them talking. I saw the evidence. That baby is Andrew's, and Isabella knows it. She tried to trap me. I'm not falling for it. He was quiet for a moment. You are a good man, Ezra. My daughter didn't deserve you. No, I said. She didn't. We hung up. I never heard from him again. The friend group sided with me completely. Everyone who'd been at that rehearsal dinner, everyone who'd known Andrew and Isabella, everyone who saw the video, they all cut them off. Group chats went silent when they tried to message. Invites stopped. They became social ghosts. Andrew tried to reach out to me exactly once. Called me the Saturday after the rehearsal dinner. Ezra, he said when I answered. We need to talk. No, I said. We don't. Man, please, I messed up. I know I messed up. But 9 years of friendship? Yes, you threw it away. You don't get to ask for forgiveness now. I was tipsy when I said that. Shut it. You're dead to me. I hung up. Blocked his number. Never spoke to him again. Isabella tried too. Sent me a long text message Monday night, 2 weeks after the dinner. It was pathetic. Blamed Andrew for manipulating her. Said she'd made a mistake. Said the baby might still be mine. Said we could work through this. I didn't respond. Just saved the evidence for later in case I needed it. Bridges once burned should stay burned. They can figure their shit out. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.